Hello everyone, I'm Tam and I'm back with another topic for discussion for my series of why I think it is. Today I want to talk about why I think China will become the number one superpower of the entire world. Maybe not by 2030. I can definitely see it being accomplished by 2050. To me, it's a done deal. There's kind of like no turning back at this point. There's just so many ways to look at this and all of them kind of just point to one direction. So number one is that China has been developing itself tremendously. If you look at some cities in China, for example, I think Shanghai 30 years ago compared to now, is completely unrecognizable. They have massive skyscrapers. China is doing some of the most ambitious projects. For example, I think they just finished building the tallest bridge in the world, not just Asia, the entire world. And they're like their networks of like subways can reach everywhere very efficiently. So they're like technology pushing themselves pretty hard to kind of like do all these things. And I think the reason why they can do this is because of their large labor force. China is, from what I can tell, pushing mostly STEM majors, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. They're not like wasting their time with the liberal stuff. I guess, I mean, not to sound immoral, not to sound like kind of like putting anyone down, but the gender study, for example, or like other liberal arts, they're pushing the hard stuff because they want to like I guess show off and brag about how great of a nation they are through their technological development. So they have a very large labor force to throw any problem at technology, technologically wise. And also they have a lot of resources too, natural resources, like that they either have, internally or they're getting from somewhere else. For example, lithium from I think Africa. So they kind of like gather all the natural resources to kind of accomplish their goals as well. Both the brain power and also the material materials to actually make it happen, make things happen. So they're becoming a hub, so to speak. However, I think China is still kind of just copy and pasting other people right now. For example, with their like grid line or power system, I think they just copy what America has been doing and kind of just rework it to make it, to make it fit their geographical location to make it a bit more efficient and so forth. China is very good at like scaling horizontally, going from like 1 to n, 10 to n, making things more kind of efficient, use less energy, less resources to create certain things, lower the price and so forth. I don't think they're as great right now in terms of innovation, going from 0 to 1, doing something that's entirely like brand new that no one has ever seen before. They're definitely like starting to reach that point. I recently like saw a post on X, Twitter, about someone about a Chinese surgeon being able to do surgery remotely through just technology to perform a surgery like 5,000 kilometers away. That's some pretty like that's some innovating innovation worthy kind of praise there. So they're definitely kind of moving towards that direction, which used to be America's domain, innovating a bunch of things. And I think America is no longer innovating a lot in comparison to its size, because I think America is offloading a lot of its things overseas. So all those innovations, all those kind of like problems to be solved, to be had, is not being solved at home anymore. Or if it is, it's not at the same scale as it once was. So the number of innovations is kind of no longer befitting um, of America as a nation. We, we're just not as doing a lot of innovations anymore as we can for sure be doing. Number two is America. I think Americans, I think, have become kind of privileged. Like we'll always end up being number one by virtue of our status. We've been number one for so long. It's kind of like a fact now, so to speak. not to say like a kind of like not to say like a condescending tone, but just like we always be number one, and that's not the case. For example, China is not developing itself just for funsies, they're developing itself, they're developing themselves to bring all the kind of like wealthy businesses and corporations into their country so they can like become number one. China doesn't want to become a two forever. I don't think anyone does. So they're gonna keep at it until they become number one. So there's definitely still competition that I think most Americans are not seeing because we're kind of like in our own shell. Well, we'll always be number one. Our dollars will always be valued everywhere, and that's not also true either, because for example, BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America, and I think Africa, this organization, this coalition got together and are trying to find ways to not use the dollar for commerce, for trade, for business. So they're trying to these nations are trying to bypass America entirely to cut America out of the equation of international trade. Yeah, sorry about that. And these are not like small nations either, man. Like India is like 1 billion plus people. It's not like Indonesia, like these are like huge nations trying to just not cooperate, I guess, trade-wise with America in a way. So America definitely needs to understand that it's not like all it can't it's not going to stay number one just because it is number one right now. Number three is that I think I think most nations, from what I can tell, kind of hate America. They kind of hate us. Like we definitely haven't been the best of pals with everyone. We definitely kind of like done some people kind of under, and I think they kind of like tired of America's orders, America's like this and that. So, for example, with BRICS, which I just mentioned earlier, this organization is trying to not use the dollar. So, so Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America, and I think Africa are like, you know what? We don't want to cooperate with you trade-wise anymore. This is not working out for us as well as it is working out for you. So we're not doing this anymore. And likewise, I think the worldview of America is that we're kind of like kind of I guess a bit pompous in how we treat other countries as well. I mean, like from what I can tell and from what I know of history anyway, in my studies, I don't think America has been like the best of stewards in terms of being the number one superpower. So I guess all that karma is coming back to us in one way, shape, form, or another. And it's not to like make us feel bad. We can definitely create positive impact as well with other nations. It's just I think it's just that I think other nations are kind of at the point where they're kind of very tired of like this dance, and they want something more for themselves. Rightly so because they have citizens to support as well, not just America.